Hello and welcome to Camera Reviews. Severn Trent PLC, which is a water company, annual report and accounts 1994-95. And why, you may ask, am I showing this? Well, I love finding things, and I found this. This is something I worked on as an assistant to the late Peter Marlow. It's quite a special thing to me because it was something I worked on for a few months with Peter, and we travelled around Europe. I learned a lot. I was not long out of university, and Peter took me under his wing, and I did a lot of stuff with Peter, and this was one of our sort of first jobs away together where we were working all over, and this gave me a taste of what it felt like to be a professional photographer working with a very established client. I was working under Magnum, and we were working with the design agency, and we were working with Severn Trent. So we were going all over Europe in trains and planes and cars shooting this report. I am actually in it. I've never been classed as a model, and I'm not a model, but when you're an assistant you have to lend in and lend your hand to everything. So for me it's really special because this was my first ever real proper annual report. I'm going to show you through it. I'm going to just explain a couple of the pictures. So Severn Trent PLC, which is Severn Trent Water. Let's have a look. So I think Peter did most of the photography in here. We definitely did that one. I'm more or less sure we did that one in this factory. And Peter was amazing, had an amazing eye for detail, amazing eye for light. He understood how to construct a shot. It's a bit small there, you can see, using the thirds, but also using the people, the workers in the frame. When you're working for somebody like Severn Trent, you're going to go to a lot of industrial units. You're going to be in the thick of working in power plants, in water refineries, in industrial units and stuff. So you can guarantee the light's not going to be great, and we did find that out. So I think Severn Trent Water, major water treatment works, which is in blue, blah, 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 blah. So this is the area. Basically this will change now because this is almost 20 odd years ago. Anyway, this shot, I remember shooting this with him, and it took ages to get this right. We were Polaroiding. This is all shot on film, and it was all shot on medium format, and we took ages lighting this because it was a real horrible greeny colour when we first started doing it. I'll get a chance of that. So this might just look like a basic shot, but it took an awful long time to shoot. And joint venture between the Severn Trent and Midlands Electric generated power from methane. This is the one lip sewage work. So I think that's that. I can't actually remember going to half these places. I do remember that shot in particular. This shot is in Silvertown. It is in the BT place. Severn Trent, I think, were I think own or have something to do with Biffa. I wouldn't be too sure, but you can see the Severn Trent Water there and Biffa. Remember, this is 20 odd years ago. So yeah, so we had to illustrate the workers. We had some flash in here. We had some portable flash unit. We did a lot of flash on this unit. In fact, I think with this shot there was some bit of flash in. To be honest, you can see some of the flash highlights on that. On there, and you can see a bit of light reflecting on there. So we did have a bit of flash in there, and we had flash down here as well. It's all coming back now. So this is in Silvertown, in London, in East London, and we had to illustrate these Biffa guys delivering, and you've got the Severn Trent emblem on the truck. And this shot, now where was this? Leicester Abbey Sewer. I can't remember anything about getting to this place, but I definitely remember being in there because that's me as a youngster. I had my big work boots on. and they made me wear this green, this big green long coat, and you can just see, if you've got an eye for the lighting kit, you can just see, I can't get it's in shot, you can just see under there, it's either, I think it's an Electron pack battery, and just behind it is the lighting stand. And obviously, if you're not a photographer, you wouldn't see it, you would just take it around. It could be equipment, but there's an Electron there. It definitely was an Electron. It could have been some Normans as well, Lumidimes or something like that. But we definitely, I think that was in particular was an Electron. I think that in particular was an Electron kit. And we had just down here was another flash head down there, a unit down there, all triggered. And here, down this way, we had another light head. So we had light, and we had 3 different lights there, down the tunnel there, and in front. Just enough to give a bit of reflection on this area here. So you can see the intensity of the light there. You can see the intensity of the light there. And I think the intensity of this forward light was beyond a little bit. So you were just getting some of the, it was just casting a little bit of light just to give it some depth. So it wasn't on the foreground as full. It was enough to give it a sort of bit more depth in the light definition. So this is much more bleached out. I think if it had all been bleached out at the time, it would have looked a little bit strange. But anyway, so yeah, there's me trying to work, and you've got this amazing reflection here as well. And I remember that, and that was one of my first ever model stints as a professional working model. But yeah, I mean, that took ages to set up, and that tunnel was pitch black when we went down. And I remember I think we got some workman lights as well to sort of add some extra so we could focus somewhere up there, there's some lighting. You can see it on my face, there's something there, I remember, to light it up. Anyway, so that's me looking like I'm working. So yeah, that took a long time to shoot, and it was a great experience. This shot here, we did a couple of shots around here. Now where is this? Let me just check. The Harley Park Technical Colour and Is this Biffa's President Special? Right, yeah, this is in Antwerp. I remember going to Antwerp in the car. We trained it to Antwerp, and that was my first time. I think I'd done first class in the Eurostar. I think I've done so many trips on them I can never really picture where it is. Well, this is another shot. I think we were using flash outside. This was such a tricky shoot, and for me, from never ever experiencing something as a corporate sector like this, I was sort of editorial, colour, black and white. So was Peter, but he made his bread and butter shooting this, and he was experienced. And so for me, it was a massive learning curve to coming in, just shooting something like this with them and learning how they do it, and then going on to shooting a lot of industry myself. I did a lot of industry, and I got well paid from a lot of industry stuff. But having stuff like this and doing stuff like this, it really opened my eyes to it. So yeah, this is Antwerp. This was, it's like in 3 levels. This it's got the natural daylight, you've got the shadow, and then you've got the sort of lit thing where we shot a bit of flash up, and you can just see the giveaway there. So it was a very constructed piece, and we have to think about highlighting certain areas and give it again of background, foreground, and middle ground. And Peter was very much into that, understanding the different planes and understanding design. He was real design-based photography. Was incredible, and his eye for light and understanding was immense. Not sure he may have shot that, but I don't think he did. No, I don't think any of this is Peter's. Vic Cocker, Group Chief Executive, a bit of an insight. I think this was in Antwerp again. Let me have a look. I'm sure that was in Antwerp, and that's me again. And I cannot give you an idea of how big these screws and bolts and nuts or whatever they're called are. They're massive. Look where my hand is, and look how big they are. And that's the client. That was the Severn Trent guy who followed us around and looked after us. And again, with this shot, I mean, it's beautiful. me in the shop. Well, see the size of the spanner. Okay, I'll get a bit close up. The size of the spanner, and then nuts and bolts. Again, foreground, middle ground, background. You can see where we've lit it here with a bit of flash, maybe even a reflector or something just to give it a bit of edge. This is all flashed, as you can see. You can make out a bit of shadow on there. This was natural light, so we balanced it off, and then we shot a few Polaroids. I think I've still got the Polaroids for this. And we balanced it off, and then we started layering the flash in, and maybe we started masking, framing this side, and then we worked on that side. So we're building it up, and again, it's well constructed. It's beautifully engineered shot. Now, I do have, as a souvenir of my trip there, I don't have the nut, but I have the bolt, and it is huge, it is heavy, it's an amazing door stop. And Peter signed it. I remember we were in the train and I had it, and how the guys from Severn Trent, they give it to me as a present, and Peter signed it, and it's something funny on it, and I've still got it to this day, and it was a permanent marker, so I've still got it signed. 20 odd years later, I've still got one of these huge bolts in my house, and I treasure it, and it's got Peter's signature on. It's great, and such a great memory. It just evokes great memories, this shoot, for me as a young lad. I might look old, but I was young. Is there anything else? Let's have a look. I think that's it. It's all shares, stocks and reports and money. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, and I think it's good to have this documented somewhere. It's a sad loss, Peter. I learned so much with Peter, learning about, just opened my eyes to photography, and with black and white documentary he did, with the corporate work, and his change of format when he started using a lot of square format, and then his square format colour digital work, and he was an incredible photographer, a beautiful engineer in terms of his photography. Now I sort of, it's a sad loss. Anyway, thank you.